Have you trained or driven a horse with a unique off-track talent? And if so, which horse and what was his talent?
I used to have a horse I trained back when I was younger, a horse called Okies Ride with me. And he would always open his snaps on his gate and open the gate. But he wouldn't go anywhere, he'd just open it and look out. But he would always do that every morning.
I've had a lot that were escape artists. I had one that used to be able to get things off the ceiling by standing on its feed tub.
About 20 years ago, there was a horse called Village Jiffy. He was a pretty good horse, and he used to stand on the first row of the fence and just with both feet and just look around. It was quite a unique talent, and I'll never forget that.
I used to take care of a horse when I was a groom. His name was Broadcaster B, and when in the barn, when he wanted some carrot, he used to get on his knees, and I used to feed him carrots. So I haven't seen one like him yet.
You know, I actually did train a horse. What was his name now? I think his name was Hudson Star. I was just a kid. I might have been 14 years old, and he was a terrible racehorse, unfortunately. But he made a really, really good riding a buckboy horse for the thoroughbreds. Actually, so much so that he was sought after all through the Manitoba circuit to do that job. So.
Well, I had a horse called Zordwick Javelin, and the only talent he had was that you couldn't catch him in the field, but if you took the truck and trailer out to the field and dropped the tailgate, he'd walk right past you and walk into the trailer. So that's about the only talent he had.
I remember when I was training, there's a few horses that were able to get in their stall in their own. So even though you were from here to like 10 meters or 5 meters, you know, they were able to go in their stall by themselves. I can't remember their names exactly, but I know there's quite a few that did that. Yeah.
I've had a couple of race horses that were really high-gated trotters, and a fella from Kentucky that dabbles in the roadster classes, and he bought one off me, and it was a Dream of Glory horse called Mach 9. And he did well with him down in the States in the roadster classes. And then I sold him another horse a few years later. Same thing, he was done his racing, but he was a real high stepper. And his name was Baltic Dream, and I sold him to the same fella in Kentucky. So there was two that went from the racetrack to the show horse, whatever, show roadster classes or whatever. So yeah, so that was two anyway.
My dad, I think they raised in Blaze of Sunshine, I think is his name. He's one of the main roadsters now, I guess. I think I don't know how much he sold him for, maybe $10,000 or something, but I heard he just got sold a year or two ago for $110,000 for a roadster. So that's kind of pretty neat. You know, that's obviously why William Shatner was at the farm one day for roadster horses like that. So that's the one that comes to mind.
Well, this guy likes to rear up in the winner's circle and put on a show.
Actually, one time back when I was working in New Jersey, I took a trip to Walneridge Farm, and they had Direct Scooter there at that time. And I remember there's a famous photo of Direct Scooter on his hind legs playing with a ball that was hanging out of a tree. And actually, he reenacted that day. The farm manager was able to get him to do it on the spot. So it's something that I guess he did regularly, and it was pretty amazing to see him do.
I'm going to say Our Lucky Clean. Our Lucky Clean, everybody knows, was a great racehorse, and I gave him to Jen Connor, and she's competing with him, doing jumping and the riding under saddle. She's doing all sorts of things in the Standardbred Showcase in the States with them, so he's been great on and off the track.
I don't know, I've had a few horses that have gone on to go over jumps and that after they've retired, and Little Band of Gold, who's made a lot of money, he was first in a NOSA retirement at Milton Fair, and that was pretty good. So yeah, they've had some unique abilities, I guess. Yeah.
I've had a few that have off-track talents. I had one horse called Fantastic Irish back in the 70s who used to eat whole oranges, just like an apple, peeling and all. Squirt everybody in the face if you're standing next to him. And shadow play like bananas, so I guess you could call that a talent. I don't know.
I don't know if this was a talent. We had a horse called Herbert's Crown, and I just remember he liked, I didn't really train him, my dad did, but he would eat like dirt, like so much dirt, just dirt after dirt off the ground. So I don't know if that's a talent or not, but it's something he did anyway.
Oh, geez, there's been a few. You know, they all have their little quirks, but we had You know, we had this horse. He would just love to drink beer. Like he would literally grab the bottle or can and just start drinking it himself. So I got a little mad because you know, I like to drink beer too, but so we had to fight for it.
You know, I've driven quite a few horses that have gone on and been pretty good barrel horses. My wife competes in the rodeos back home. So I would have to say maybe a horse called Tom's OK Lady. She could probably do both things.
I wouldn't say it's much of a talent, but my wife had a horse called Armbro Vermont back in the day. He was pretty much a pet to us and the family at home, and we'd let him run loose on the farm, and he'd eat our grass out in the front lawn, and we'd have numerous people come up and tell us that we had a loose horse, till we just confirmed with them that, you know, he's just like a dog to us. He don't go nowhere.
Well, I used to look after a horse that his name was Chinkapin. He was very mean, but his attribute was chasing you around trying to grab your leg while you're walking him, and he would do like circles. So I guess talent he had was doing circles trying to bite your leg.
Well, Good Times, I guess, was a pretty good horse under saddle, so he was good that way.
I used to have a mare that my wife used to be able to ride, but that's about it. She never had a saddle on before, and my wife jumped on her back and went on her. Her name's Scottish Cross, and she was just perfect. Like, and actually was crazy with as a standardbred in the jog cart and the race bike, she'd pull and try and run away on you. But when my wife would ride her, she was just like a little kitten.
I had a couple horses out in BC. I put them through greener pastures, which is Ontario's OSAS, I guess. But yeah, they take horses and just rehabilitate them, teach them how to ride, and they're pleasure horses for people.
Well, hopefully my old horse Ramagay Bruiser is going to go on to be my daughter's riding horse. He's made over $1 million, so we're gonna retire him and hopefully he can become a riding horse for her. She's taking riding lessons right now.